I didn't want to have to make this video, but it has to be made. Because if I don't make it, people won't realize how poorly Disney has mishandled their franchises. And why I don't actually trust them anymore. A lot of people are still talking shit about Illumination, despite the fact that they literally made a few goated films recently and are prepping for a big blowout just like DreamWorks had. And both DreamWorks and Illumination have equally said no to artificial intelligence. So let's talk about the next few films. Shall we? Disney and Pixar. My gosh, I'm gonna tell Disney. I wish I didn't have to tell them to fuck off, but I am. But yeah, apparently I'm gonna tell them to fuck off because of these 3 franchises they ruined, including a bonus 4th one. Here we go. Let's start with Pixar, shall we? Now, Pixar. This is why I hope Bob Iger. This is why I hope This is why I think the current leadership doesn't know what the hell they're doing. But yeah, Bob Iger completely screwed up the company, and let's talk about Pixar. I'll loop into the 5th franchise they're planning on ruining. But yeah, Pixar apparently made films such as Turning Red? Like, no, that's not a good movie, but I'll get to that. Let's look at every Pixar movie they've managed to release after Toy Story 3. Let's talk about Cars 2. Nobody likes that movie because it completely almost ruined the franchise. So 3 came along in 2017, so I won't mention that again. I've lost if I actually might have to, but Brave, nobody liked it. The Monsters prequel that must not be named had a horrible message compared to the first. That could have been good if it was a completely original movie and generated an entire plot hole where they all of a sudden meet in college, yet they didn't meet in the 4th or 5th grade, yet they say in the first movie, you haven't seen each other since the 4th or 5th grade. Give me a break. Then you have Monsters Inc. Then you have, and also prevented Monsters Inc. 2 and 3 from happening. That's a nightmare. I wouldn't be surprised if they're straight to streaming now. Okay, next film. Planes. Nobody remembers Planes and Planes Fire Rescue. Moving on. Inside Out. Fine. I'll give you that one. I don't know about the sequel if there's an alternate version. Okay, let's move on. Good Dinosaur. Now, this one's going to be a complicated one to explain, but it's about a dinosaur training a stage 1 neurotypical. The stage 1 neurotypical was... Now, autistic people today are stage 3. Most people are stage 2 today. But it was mainly a forgettable film. Cars 3, I'll have to mention the retire ending. Because he does give, midway through the race, give the role of racing to Shamir Cruz. And that's how they win. And that was just a stupid ending. But, anyways, what else? Coco, I'll give you that one, fine. Incredibles 2 was a forgettable mess. Then we get to the 4th installment of Toy Story, which shouldn't have happened. Fine, Onward, we'll mention that. But now we have to mention the 2020s. Other than Soul, of course, which was an actually good film that was sort of a meta film. 2021. We got Luca, fine. Other than the Bean Mouth, I'll give you that one. Turning Red was ass. That movie was ass. It had a horrible torque scene that was so inappropriate. I'm glad they even, like, pulled it from theaters in 2022. I did do a fan event, but I'm like, why? 2023, Elemental, I'll give you that one. 2024, the version of Inside Out 2 with Joy doesn't die. Fine, I'll give you that one. Not the one where Joy dies. If that happens, if I ever have to have the misfortune of seeing that version, just like the version of Toy Story 0, which I hope they don't make that after the Monsters prequel that shall not be named. The only one I think they could do right is a Wall-E prequel. Then, God have mercy on my soul. But 2025, we have Monsters. Well, no, we had some. What was it? What we have? Oh yeah, we had Lightyear in 2022. Nobody liked that one. It was a prequel to Toy Story that was based off of a movie Andy watched and broke the space-time continuum with massive plot holes that I just don't want to have to mention. I'll explain in another video, but yeah. 2025, we saw another one I'm not going to give you because it had some illogicalities, and it was called Elio, and I'm going to tell you something about Elio. It was just became a story about nothing, and now we get to Poppers. First Pixar film to officially use AI. AKA the first Pixar film I'm going to wait for streaming to watch since Incredibles 2. I'm going to wait for streaming to watch it because I don't think I want to support a movie in the box office that uses artificial intelligence to tell its story. I'll move, and then we got Gato in, like, what? In 2027, whatever that is, and Incredibles 3 in 2028. I'm sorry, what is this again? And that's the end of it. We won't see him again until Cars 4. Oh, gosh. And when they do that, they're just gonna undo the ending of 3. That was perfect. And all because of like, just to make 4 happen. Now, but what about Coco 2? That is so unnecessary. We don't need a Coco 2. But anyways, moving on. Now let's get to Marvel. Endgame is where this started. Because they scrapped a version where all 6 of the original Avengers would have died, thus creating finality. And now we have to deal with She-Hulk twerking her ass, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, and bullshit of the such. Not to mention the way they handled Ms. Iron Man Lost Quantumania, and I'm like, I am just in so shock. Not to mention, we might not even get to see Avengers Forever. Have you ever considered that? But yeah, then we get to Star Wars, this putrid shit of a franchise that Disney has turned it into. Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker are all ass. Okay. The Acolyte was ass. The Mandalorian became ass. The only good show was Mandalorian, and that match had an attempted rape scene in it. I hope I never have to show you these movies just to emphasize how bad they are, but my gosh, I will one day. And I might even show you the prequels I got and how inconsistent they are with the OT. But anyways, now we get to the bonus one before 5th one. Disney. They made a Frozen Part 2, yeah, but they made a Frozen 3 Part 1 and 2, which is just a bad idea. I don't want to mention it. Strange World was weird, and Kanto fine. I'll give you that one. What else? Moana 2 was ass, and Zootopia 2, we got to see that one. It was about colonizing sites, so I'm not giving you that one, even if it ends up being good. But yeah, then we have, oh gosh. We might even get to see Frozen 2 Part 2 for a while. A bonus one, Disney's NCU. I'm worried about this one because it's going to be fully AI generated, and that's just going to be a disaster. Okay, bye.